Welcome back. Glad you're up. NBC News today was out with an explosive report saying President Trump over the summer told top national security officials that he wanted a tenfold increase in America's nuclear arsenal. Well, President Trump says, I never said that.
No, I never discussed increasing it. I want it in perfect shape. That was just fake news by NBC, which gives a lot of fake news lately. No, I never discussed. I think somebody said I want 10 times the nuclear weapons that we have right now. Right now, we have so many nuclear weapons. I want them in perfect condition, perfect shape. That's the only thing I've ever discussed. General Mattis put out a statement, or is putting out a statement, saying that that was fake news, that it was just mentioned that way. And it's frankly disgusting the way the press is able to write whatever they want to write. And people should look into it.
So President Trump also tweeted tonight, quote, saying this: network news has become so partisan, distorted, and fake that licenses must be challenged and, if appropriate, revoked. Not fair to public, unquote. Joining us, by the way, General Mattis came out and said that's not true either, just like the president said he would. Joining us right now with reaction in Washington is Charlie Hurt. He's the opinion editor for the Washington Times. A lot of people in other channels are saying, what is the president doing? He's trying to do what the Turkish leader's doing and suppress the media. Do you see it differently, Charlie?
Yeah, I don't think he's, I think he's what they call trolling. I think he's kind of messing with them, sort of jangling a stick in their cage to get them freaked out. And of course, they are completely freaking out. It's a very, it's something that we've seen from him a lot. But I think that he also has a very good point. I mean, what we see from from places like NBC, other places, these stories that are completely refuted by all kinds of people inside the administration, people that have impeccable reputations, completely refuted, and they just go with it because it's an anti-Trump thing. And it seems like I feel like I've seen in the past year, 2 years, around here in Washington, if it's an anti-Trump story, there's no vetting required. They'll just run with it, and this is another example of that.
So you know what's interesting? There's two major stories on the world stage. You got the Iran decertification and North Korea. What do we do? And you have people like Joe Lieberman, who was on the radio with me today. He says, I kind of like what President Trump's doing. Condoleezza Rice, I kind of understand where he's coming from. We've tried everything else. And then you look at with Iran decertification, there's so many prominent Democrats that voted against this. So if you can't land a blow on two major issues, I don't know, if he's right, they made two stories up and then ran with that, and they weren't expected to get maybe punched back.
And, Brian, I think that's exactly why the president does this. I think he does it because he knows that they're not paying attention to what is a gravely, gravely serious issue, whether it's North Korea or Iran. They're passing on all of those stories. We're desperately trying to figure out a way to move forward with both of these situations. The media is focused on whether somebody inside the administration called him a moron or not behind closed doors. It's imbecilic. And of course, the president realizes that, and he takes these opportunities to shed light on the media for focusing on all this stupid palace intrigue that nobody cares about. They just want these problems solved, and the world needs them to be solved, because we're talking about, in some cases, millions and millions of people whose lives are at risk, and the media is talking about, oh, somebody called somebody a moron. It's like these people are like junior high school.
You know what happened? They tried to get information of the Rex Tillerson, my hunch, Secretary of State, and the president had lunch. And I think they got along, and they agreed on a way forward because the president's got a consequential trip to China. And because they got along, they decide to focus on his one statement where, if he did call me a moron, I'd like to challenge him to an IQ test, which I thought was hysterical. So I flipped the channels, and they were like taking him literally. Is the president really think he's got a higher IQ than Rex Tillerson? Yeah. And I even asked Heather Nauert about Rex Tillerson's IQ. It's unbelievable what's going on right now.
It's a key, one of the earliest symptoms of Donald Trump derangement syndrome. Right. Is that you lose your sense of humor. And these people in Washington have all lost their sense of humor. And Donald Trump can say the funniest thing, and all of America is like knee slapping, bent over laughing, and all the media is like, oh, it's so astonishing. He said something about an IQ test, and they're freaking out. Right. And I think that helps. I really do think that those, inside politics, people view that as a distraction. It's a distraction from his message. Maybe so, but I think he uses that to his advantage in kind of brilliant ways.
Charlie, I've really enjoyed our time together. Have you?
Yes, always, Brian.
All right. Charlie Hurt, thanks so much from Washington.